Hey guys, James Redding here with the Road Trip Angler, and I wanted to do a quick review today on a piece of gear that I use a lot, and that is the Blackpack Pro. I have a couple of different sizes, and Yakattack has been really nice to send me those to review and use throughout the season. And I have here the 13 by 16 size and the 16 by 16 size, which I find the most versatile for what I'm doing. I also have a video on the channel showing you how to take this from the box, install it, put it together, how everything goes, and we go step by step how to actually assemble a Blackpack, and you can check that out over on the Road Trip Anglers YouTube. But for now, I just want to talk quickly about what I like about the Blackpack Pro. The Blackpack Pro is replacing the original Blackpack, which is made out of starboard and was quite a bit heavier. So first off, I like how much lighter the new Blackpack Pro is in comparison to the original Blackpack. The original Blackpack has been out a very long time, and it was a great crate. You know, most of us started by using milk crates and things of that nature and moved into the Blackpack when it came out because there was some versatility and it was built a little bit stronger. However, a couple of things I didn't like about it were that it did tend to let a lot more moisture and water in. And while this Blackpack Pro is not waterproof, the way the lid kind of overhangs the top, if you get rain or splashes, the box actually stays relatively dry. The other thing was the weight. It was a little heavier, this is much lighter, and the way the handles work. So if you had stuff inside your pack and you tried to reach in and grab those handles, which were simply cutouts in the side, it kind of became hard to do so if you had the pack full of stuff and full of gear inside it. This one has external handles, which you see here, which make it a whole lot easier to grab a hold of. I don't want to get too much into comparing it with the old Blackpack because that's not what this video is about. It's about this product as a standalone product, but I did want to touch on a few things that I think are a huge upgrade with this pack. The other thing I really like about it is that it comes in a couple of different sizes. Depending on what kayak you are in and what you're using this for, you may not be able to get away with the full 16 by 16 size or the 13 by 16 size. So there's also a 13 by 13 size, which I do not have here, but that size is great and you can still fit several boxes in there. They're shaped and designed to fit the 3700 boxes really well, so it makes organizing your gear on the water really easy and convenient. One of the things that I would say that might be a con really, but I guess it's not a con because there is just an unlimited amount of ways to rig the attachment points and the rod holders on these. So it can be a bit overwhelming as far as a con goes, but what it does is really allow you to dial in how you want to set up yours. So in this case, I only put 3 of the included 4 rod tubes that were in the box on there because I know where I'm going to be using this Blackpack. I'm not going to take usually more than 3 or 4 rods, and to fit it in the tank well of the Kilroy, which is what I put this Blackpack together for, I need it to be configured this way to really fit in there. Now when I'm using a boat that has a larger tank well like the Jackson Nar, I can get away with the 16 by 16 Blackpack and I can configure those rod tubes really anywhere on it. But the versatility of all the different places and things that you can attach to this make it really awesome. I really believe that the latch points are strong and secure. So far I have had no issues. I've spent a lot of time on the water with this product and it stays shut. I've never flipped a boat while I had it. However, I have actually been in a situation where I saw someone flip and the Blackpack completely stayed closed with no issue, even after bouncing off several rocks while the kayak was upside down. The tie down points, I really like them, and you have a lot of different options. You can put the bungee on there directly, or you can use the included clips that Yakattack makes, the Omni attachment points. These are the Omni corners, and you have the Omni hooks or attachments that go on there. And then you can also put 1-inch webbing, and you can do that as well on the handles. So there's just a lot of versatility here. In addition to this being brand new, as far as a crate goes, they also launched a new rod tube with this crate, and this is the tether tube. And one of the really cool things about the tether tube is it has these included hooks, and these hooks allow you to kind of go around your rod and hold those or bungee those to the actual rod tube. So if you do go under some trees, it's not going to pull the rod out, or if you flip, you're not going to lose your rod there. However, I don't use those all the time, so one of the things I've been doing is pulling these over to the side and just hooking them on. He's provided hook points here, or tether points, and that keeps them tucked in and out of the way. Next thing I want to talk about is actually putting this together. It's not that complicated, but it can be a bit overwhelming because there are a lot of parts and pieces. My recommendation there, and watch the install video, but take it apart and separate each one of the kitted bags, which makes it really helpful to be able to install this one part at a time and one step at a time without mixing the different screws together. Sometimes when you pull things out of a bag or a box and all the screws are together, it can be overwhelming trying to sort through those and figure out which ones are the right ones for the step that you're on. But they made it pretty easy by putting those in kits so that you can grab the kit that you need and only use the hardware from that kit while you're working on that particular step. So installing it, while a bit time consuming, it's really not that difficult. The top things that I love about this are that it is made in the USA. It's made by a company that understands and is involved in kayak fishing, so they know what the needs are, and they are the leader in kayak fishing accessories. Now again, they did send me this Blackpack, just full disclosure there. I do work with them, but I would be buying this if they did not send it to me, because it is such an integral piece of gear for what I do on the water, and it makes it really easy when I'm at the water loading the kayak and unloading the kayak quickly so that I can get out of the way of other boaters that may be needing to use the ramp, and I can leave my gear stored in the Blackpack all the time.
Don't be me!
Configuring the Blackpack is really unlimited. Each one of these holes that you see is an attachment point, and you can simply use some of their self-tapping screws and attach different things to it. For example, here on my personal Blackpack, I have my Jackson Kayak multi-box, which is designed to mount onto a track system, but I actually have those multi-clips that come from Jackson Kayak mounted directly to the Blackpack, and allows me to mount this extra kind of side box where I keep line and things like that to it very cleanly and very nicely, and I can actually take that on and off. The other thing I've done is I've taken a tackle webs and I've mounted it inside, because you also have screw points inside the lid here of the box and on the sides. So you can attach things like this mesh bag from Tackle Webs to the lid or even on the side of the box to keep loose things. So that's where I'll put a few things when I just want to keep them out of the box and not floating around inside. You can fit 3,700 tackle boxes, and again, not to go back too much to the original Blackpack, but even though it was designed to fit those 3,700s, it had a lip around the side, and so sometimes you had to kind of go in at an angle, and it can make it difficult to pull those boxes quickly, smoothly out of the box. But this one fits very well and no problem there. You can also stand the 3600s up on their end, so I'll just show that for reference. Height-wise, I can turn those on their side and fit several of the 3600 size boxes as well. And I keep things in there. Again, it's about being quick. So when I kind of take my kayak down for travel, I just throw all the pieces and parts that I need to keep organized in there so that it's one thing to take out of the boat and carry to the vehicle. The other thing is I use these bait, that was loud. The other thing is I like to use these bait blocks from Z-Man, and they fit really good as well into the Blackpack. If you're a kayak fisherman, this may be a piece of gear that you really couldn't live without. I use mine all the time, and I'm super glad that I have the ability to have a few different sizes for different kayaks to fit different situations. Primarily the 16 by 16 for me is great because I can keep a lot of gear in there and not feel like I'm overcrowding it where I have to move things out of the way in order to get to things that I want to use. Each one of the Blackpacks from the 13 by 13 all the way to the 16 by 16 are essentially the same. The hole spacing is the same. The way you install them is the same. The only difference is going to be their size and the fact that the box is going to come with 3, 4, or 6 of the tether tubes. All the materials are exactly the same. The only difference is the size of the footprint and the panels. I'm not familiar with every kayak on the market and how big their tank well is, but I am familiar with the Jackson kayak line because I've worked with Jackson and for Jackson for a very long time. And I can tell you that the 16 by 16 fits really well in the back of the Take 2, fits in the tank well of the Jackson Kayak NAR, and it fits in the Kusa X, which is the newest kayak from Jackson, and it has no problem. There may be other models as well, depending on how you configure where your rod holders are and whether or not you're going to put them on all sides, that you can fit the 16 by 16 in. The 13 by 16 for me fits in the back of the Kilroy really nicely because that is a little bit smaller tank well. And then the 13 by 13 is gonna fit in all of them. So what I recommend is actually measuring your tank well to make sure you can get that initial footprint of 13 by 16 or 13 by 13, or in this case, 16 by 16, plus the width of the rod holder because that's gonna be mounted on one side or the other. And then you can configure that to fit your tank well. So you may want to check. Yakattack also has a lot of images on their social media and on their website showing the Blackpacks in different tank wells of different model kayaks. So that might be a great resource for you to go and kind of look through some of the ways people have set theirs up and see what they look like in the tank well of different models. Overall, I really think this Blackpack Pro is a win. It's a big improvement over the original Blackpack, and it comes in at about the same price. There is a little bit of a gap change in the different prices, so it goes up 25 bucks from 125 to 175 for the 16 by 16, 125 being that 13 by 13, but you get more rod holders each time the size increases, so I think that's really great. You could always go with something very simple in a DIY option like a simple milk crate, which is what I started with. But I really like having the configuration of being able to add other things and really move things around on this Blackpack without having to ever drill a hole into it. And I like that it stays pretty dry on the inside from splashes and even from rain. In fact, I've left mine in the bed of my pickup truck during a rainstorm and it's been virtually dry on the inside, even though it's not waterproof or designed to be waterproof. I also like how it ties down to the kayak and how secure you can get it in the kayak with the different options like the Omni corners and the handles. You can use webbing, you can use bungee, and you can even use the Omni hooks that will integrate with these handles and with the Omni corners. And I really like that it has a lifetime warranty, and any issue that you ever have with them or any issue that I've ever had with a product, I can call them up and they, no questions asked, take care of that product. So I think it's a good company standing behind a really good product. So you should check it out for sure. And if you want to see how to install or put this together right out of the box, be sure to check out our install video and give us a follow on the Road Trip Anglers YouTube. And as always, thank you guys for watching. And for more tips and tricks, continue to come back to the channel.
The Road Trip Angler would like to thank our global partners for helping support the mission to get people outside and on the water.